Hey guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today we are going to be diving headfirst into some more immersive engineering. So, I hope you guys are ready. So today I'm just doing a bit of mining, getting my pick nice and leveled up, because I'd really love to make this thing unbreakable. Yeah, just sort of mining out some blocks, getting some building material, and also getting myself some of this raw silicone from Galacticraft. That is found in jungle biomes. So this is definitely one of the places I found it. And yeah, this is kind of what I'm kind of doing today. Plus this material looks kind of cool from Primal Core. It's kind of nice. Like, this has a really nice brick material. Like when we place it down, look at this. This actually is a really nice building block. I'm going to grab quite a bit of this if I can. So my pick just leveled up. Oh man, it's now set to adapt, which means we have 5 modifier slots available. And you know what that means? Well, that means we're about to have an unbreaking pickaxe that is an insanely nice pickaxe at that. Yeah, I use this thing as a weapon. I mean, this thing is pretty nice and can still level up more even after we make it unbreaking. Oh, this is going to be nice. I won't have to continuously repair it with obsidian sharpening kits anymore. I can... Oh, let's get this done. I want to make this thing unbreaking. So for this, I am going to need some blank casts, as you can see here. Cast it out with some gold. And that's pretty much it. And that and some obsidian. And we should be able to make 5 reinforcement modifiers. And that's all we're going to need to make this tool unbreakable. It's pretty crazy. All right, so level 1 unbreaking. That's going to take up 1 modifier slot. Oh man, here it goes. And 1 more. And that makes it unbreakable. It's unbreakable. You can see it right there. And yeah, this thing is going to be ridiculous. When it comes to a tool that we can use to harvest pretty much anything, as far as like a block goes, this is the tool for it. So yeah, just to prove a point, for example, here's 3 blocks, nothing. No durability loss at all, because it doesn't have durability anymore. It is entirely unbreakable. Ah, this is so nice. The fact that it's got this and it's combined with the excavate modifier. It's perfect. I love this tool. I think a good pickaxe name for this is going to be Unstoppable. I mean, it straight up is unstoppable. So, I mean, I think it should be the name. I think it's very, very fitting for this thing. We are about to move forward with automation. I am super excited for this. We can now make some machine cases, and not just make 1, but make several. Wow, it's so nice when I come in here and I look up and I see this nice build here. So right here, already I have enough to make some of the machines that I really want to make. Let's go ahead and get ourselves, look at 4 of these just like that. All the printed circuits, everything that I've waited for. We're kind of just missing stabilized, but that's so easy to get. All I have to do is just send it in. So with 4 of these, this is plenty. What I want to do is I want to make myself a coal generator. This is what is going to go with our powered furnace. As you can see, we're going to need a couple of nether gens for this. We also need the seared furnace controller, which is not too bad to make. I should be able to make all of this. The crusher, however, that's something that we can just throw together. And we don't really need the power furnace like right off the bat, but it is going to be nice to have. So the crusher can crush down different materials. Of course, we should be familiar with that, right? And this is going to allow us to get things like, I don't know, Constantine grit, for example. And then we need to smelt that down. I don't think Constantine grit's actually a good example, because the actual powered furnace itself can smelt things like iron grit and turn it into the ingots itself, which is the ultimate goal. At least I think it does, right? So our crusher, let me just make sure, because I could be incredibly wrong. So let's, for example, iron. Iron inside the crusher is going to give us iron grit, and then iron grit needs to be cooked. I'm not seeing a way to cook that other than inside of an arc furnace. So, that leads me to believe that having ourselves a powered furnace isn't really going to be that helpful. the arc furnace is really ultimately what we're going to need for this task. So I think it might be time to start investing in everything that's needed for the arc furnace. So let's go ahead and just set up the crusher, and then we'll worry about the arc furnace here in a little bit. But right now, you can see I have my crusher, and I need to give some power to this generator, and give power to the crusher. So I have a coal generator, and then we'll just go ahead, throw this in, and that should get started producing a couple of different things, because the iron will produce nickel, so they do get sort of a little side ingredient that's the chance of a side product. But yeah, this is really nice. So I'm gonna let this run, because of course I need to let this run, and we need to focus on an arc furnace. And I don't know if I want to put it underground or not. I'm kind of thinking about maybe having an actual arc furnace like down underground here and incorporate it into this area. I mean, that would make the most sense in my opinion, so I don't have to like route things all over the place. So I was actually sort of surprised that I had pretty much everything ready to go. Let's see, steel, I think I have almost enough. So I need to take some of the steel, knock it down into some plates, because I need to convert the blast brick. I went ahead and tore down our blast furnace that I'd been using over time to just generate steel, which has worked fine. And of course there is an upgrade for it, so there is a middleman. We're kind of going to just like skip that at this point. Because I also made 3 more blast brick, because you're going to need pretty much your entire blast furnace, and then you're also going to need your 3 more blast brick on top of that. And so that'll get us the sheet metal that we need to convert these over into the reinforced versions. And these reinforced versions are going to be used, and this is pretty much everything we need. Like, I have just like everything that we're going to need. The hardest thing to get, I mean, for me, was the heavy engineering blocks, just because it's just a few extra steps to craft, but other than that, it's pretty easy. So getting this thing up and running is going to be very, very helpful. So to build this thing, it is fairly straightforward. We have our cauldron, and if we break this thing down, it's not too difficult to understand how things are going to work. Pretty much we have our heavy engineering block on the background there. All of this is mostly going to be just the steel. Actually, did I make steel scaffolding? I did. It's supposed to be like sheet metal. That is something that I probably need to do instead. If I take a look here, you can see I'm missing my sheet metal slabs. That is just from this. So we're going to need 14 sheet metal slabs, which means we need a bit more sheet metal to do this. Okay, that's okay. I have the materials processing right now, so we'll get that done here shortly. But I have a space set out. It's going to be a 5x5x5 block, or multi-block. And so I'm just going to lay this out just as it's stating here. You can see right here is how this is going to go. I believe that has a block there. Then we have our steel scaffolding, just like this. We go ahead and take the rest of this. It looks like a piece of sheet metal and then 2 of our steel blocks. So sheet metal here, and then a steel block here and here. And then I know that on the back we're going to have a heavy engineering block, but it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, our 5th block back, which is going to leave us right here. And the rest of it is going to be the actual sheet metal, which I'm kind of waiting for my my stuff to finish up. Looks like we almost have enough. I think we just needed 8 regular sheet metal, was something that was on the list, and I should have that at this point. Oh yeah. That should totally be enough. At least I think it is. Actually, we might be just like ever so slightly out. Let me go ahead and drop in, I guess, 4 more steel. There we go. And that should be good. So with this, our first layer is complete, and you can kind of get an idea how big this thing is going to be. Like I said, it's going to be 5x5 on the base here, and also 5 tall. And not the whole thing is going to take that whole space, but you definitely want to make sure you have enough area there. The next layer up is going to get a little bit more tricky. But overall, it's actually pretty simple. I can probably do this all from memory. So it looks like the engineering blocks are here. We're going to do more steel there. And this looks like light engineering blocks that was just run across the back. Was that correct? Yes. And then also in the center here, which is going to actually float above these blocks is going to be the reinforced. That is going to go just like so. So not too bad. Actually, you know what? I think that I didn't need those extra 3 now that I look at it. Because this is technically only 2 blocks down there. Ah, I looked at this wrong and was thinking that. So no, you really just need your single blast furnace. That's all you need. You don't need the extra 3. What am I talking about? I can already tell from the next layer that it's not going to be anything crazy either. This is going to go like so. We're pretty much going to pull this back. This is going to go 1 extra out. And then as far as everything else goes, it's not anything crazy. Like, we got some sheet metal that we need that we're missing just 1 piece of. Another block, which is we're almost completely finished with this multi-block. I just need to grab a bit more of my sheet metal. And that should do it for us. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, the arc furnace is going to make things a little bit easier on us just overall. I'm kind of happy I'm doing this. Sometimes it's getting over that initial, like, oh, I got to do this sort of feeling. And then once it's done, you're like, it's definitely gratifying. Okay, so right here, it looks like it goes up and then goes up 2. Then we're going to need our sheet metal, which looks like it goes right here. I hope I'm doing this right. No, these go directly on the side. Almost had it with memory. They go right here. All right. And that is almost finished, I think. Then we just need to add our last layer here. And I think that's it. So, last layer. And is that all? I feel like I'm missing something. Ah, yes. This goes all the way out for this layer. Which leaves this here. And that is the completed multi-block. Now, to activate this, what block do we need to use for this? It does look like everything is done. I'm assuming we click one of these, probably the cauldron, right, with the hammer. We hit the cauldron with our hammer. Let's see. Let's take one of our hammers out. And there we go. So this right here is our arc furnace, all complete. I did leave some space for some piping and chests so we can get things in here and get things working. But it's rather fitting. I think it fits in here. It doesn't look super out of place. It is out of place. It's kind of a super cool looking block. But this thing is still missing a few things. It won't work without some rods. So we're going to need to make some hop graphite in order to get this thing up and running. So another multi-block that we are going to need is going to be this one in particular, because to get the HOP graphite, we do need to make ourselves this, which is going to require coke dust. I also do need to make a crusher. So there is a lot involved with this arc furnace. So with the crusher and everything else involved, it is a process. So I still need to make this. I also have this that I'm making. This is a squeezer. This is going to be used. So yeah, we need to figure out also a place now to put our crusher. I think right here is probably going to be a decent spot for it. For right now, all of this going in our like industrial area. And yeah, let's hope we have enough steel to get that. I think we do. I do have quite a stockpile of steel, just from the prior episodes, just us kind of doing other things. So as far as the crusher goes, it actually doesn't require a whole lot of like actual materials, believe it or not. I gotta remember how do we activate this? Where do I activate this at? I don't have it backwards. Let me read the book. So playing redstone signal control. Oh, I'm missing the redstone block. I was like, what is going on here? And there we go. So this is the crusher. So yeah, this just requires a bit of iron, and is going to mostly require power. That is definitely something we can do. I can go ahead and just extend my power from over here over to probably both of these machines. I was thinking about doing it differently, but That's probably going to be the best like case scenario, is just getting our power sort of routed over. Doesn't look like it's going to be that big of a deal to do that either. So now that I have this hooked up to power, I'm just going to go ahead and place a chest here and drop an entire stack of coal coke in here. And that should crush up, and that should give us the product that we actually need. I'm going to go ahead and shut the oil off, because that should grind down and get us coal coke dust. Now, I want to take this and put it in the squeezer. This should give us, once we have 8 of these, I know it's pretty loud. Once we have 8 of these, I can throw that in here. And that's supposed to work. And give us the hop graphite dust. Perfect. Now the hop graphite dust, when we take that down, we can actually just smelt that in a normal furnace. And that will give us hop graphite. Now, I think I want to use this for the blueprint, though, because this blueprint is how we're actually going to make the actual hop graphite diodes, or electrodes is what they're called, I believe. Do I not have blue lapis? I guess it's time for me to crush up some more lapis, even though I'm pretty sure I got blue laying around here somewhere. Alright, we'll get that grinded up, and that should be just about it before we can start using this bad boy. So I went ahead and got our blueprint made, and also decided to go ahead and run our power. So I'm just running the power along here using some of these wooden wall mounts with some more of that MV wire relays, and just running that all along here, running it down here, and yes, right into the back. These wall mounts are really handy for that, because otherwise they wouldn't stick off the edge and you would have to kind of finagle moving these around blocks. It just, yeah, it becomes a big mess. So definitely use the wall mounts. They will come in handy, believe me. So this is all running into here. This should be enough power, at least I think it will be. Everything else, I'm just kind of waiting, so we should have all of our resources now. Let's take our coke dust and let's throw that into the squeezer. Of course, that's going to drain really quick of power, but that should get us the dust. Look at that. There's 4 dust already. We throw this into a furnace, and that should be our actual first rod that we need. I think we need 3 rods, though, because 4 of these is going to equal 1 hop rod, or hop graphite electrode. I think that's what I'm saying it wrong. So there's 1. Everything's going down into here, and our blueprint now says that 4 of these ingots are going to equal 1 of the graphite electrodes. And I believe this is one that's at 100%, like 100% durability is what I would call it, or efficiency, or whatever you want to call it. But that's what we should get out of that with that blueprint. It's also something that looks to be used inside of a big crafting recipe to get this unfamiliar item. Don't know what that is. I wonder what that is. Also, we could take 4 of these and just make it like this, but that doesn't make sense when we can just make the blueprint. And I believe the blueprint, yeah, gives us the 100%. So I would rather have the integrity of 100% than have the integrity of 50%. I mean, that makes more sense to me. So we throw that in there, and there we go. We have a graphite electrode. The graphite electrode is going to go in here, but we need 3 of them. As you see right here, we have 3 electrode ports. So I'm just going to go ahead and wait for the squeezer, get those items smelted up, and we should be just about ready to go. So now that we have all of this, there we go. We can make the other 2 that we're going to need, throw them in, and we're ready to go. We are really ready to go. All right, so right here I have iron grit, and now what I should be able to do is I should be able to pop that in there, and iron grit is now going to start smelting and turning into iron. But it also, I believe, there's a chance it can start producing some other stuff. Look at that. Look how that looks. And what we can do is actually have a chest, or a couple chests, actually, because slag is another thing that we might get. So what we'll do is we'll have a chest here, and I think this will automatically output, yeah, to that chest or inventory. And then back here, we're also going to need a chest. So any slag is going to end up back in this chest. So overall, this is pretty nice. And then we can input items into here. So right here is an input slot. And that's how we would potentially get our items in. Because I don't think, yeah, this is an export slot. And yeah, so right up here, just drop your items in. You can use a hopper or whatever you want to use. Or you can just throw the items in. There's a lot of slots here. and that's going to produce our materials. So this is going to grind them up. This is going to cook them down. And you can see that it does use a little bit of durability on our electrodes each time something is processed. But and we can also distribute items, so we can do multiple items at once. This is the way to definitely do it, so long as you have enough power. As you can see, I don't exactly have enough power for this. And that could be because I also have some other machines running as well. Yeah, this thing uses just a little bit of power. So as always, I want to give a shout out to one of my patrons, and that's going to be a thanks to Methods. Thank you so much for your support over on the Patreon. I really do appreciate it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Of course, if you did, don't forget to click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And also give this video, guys, a huge thumbs up. I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you guys are too. I hope to see you in the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching.